Welcome to Menopause Weekly. It's time to kick off your shoes, grab a drink and listen to this week's stats, chats and facts. Are you ready? Then let's get started, shall we?
Hi everyone and welcome to Menopause Weekly. So Kate Winslet recently spoke out globally about her TV BAFTA award for Best Leading Actress. One of the things that she said really resonated with me. Let's just check that out, shall we? She said parents who wish they could still communicate with their teenagers but no longer can. I'm going to repeat that. Parents who wish they could still communicate with their teenagers but no longer can. I'm a mum of two and I totally understand what she's saying. With raging hormones and a mum that's menopausal, there are going to be some clashes in the house. But if people are able to recognise those signs and symptoms, talk about what's happening and support one another, then surely it can only help, can't it? It's not going to be the be all and end all, but communication is the key. And that's all I'm trying to do here, is get people to share, to talk, and to just get this thing about the menopause out there a lot more. I was reading an article recently and it was Rylan and his mum particularly talking about her menopause. But one of the things that Rylan said was, as a teenager, he really wished that he'd recognised what his mum was going through. He feels in retrospect that had he known what the signs and symptoms were, and that yes, his mum was changing in front of him and he was battling with his hormones as he was growing up. But one of the things that he wished is that he'd known this, and that he just wished he'd been able to do more and to help her more. Well, this is our chance, isn't it? We can do this, we can make change happen. So yeah, let's just all get on board with it, shall we? And see if we can all help one another and make changes happen.
Benenden Health have teamed up with Channel 4 to encourage us to check in on our health. In a recent interview for them, Rylan Clark talked to his mum Linda about her experience of the menopause. Rylan also spoke about his own experience when his mum was going through the menopause. In the interview, Rylan said that people should talk about the menopause and not bottle it up. He remembered being quite young and his mum becoming more snappy and angry with him. As a young lad, he wasn't sure what was going on. Had he been older, he said, he would have asked about it, but now it all makes a lot more sense to him. Rylan went on to say that men also need to learn about it so that the stigma that surrounds the menopause could be removed. He didn't think that a man could ever completely understand what a woman goes through with the menopause, but he did think men could be aware, informed, and educated. He finished off by saying that it didn't need to be scary if you're talking to somebody about it.
Let's look at Linda's menopause experience, the support that she received, and what needs to be done to educate people about the menopause. This is what Linda had to say. My menopause came on early because of my illness, Crohn's disease, which is not what any woman wants to happen. I didn't know what was happening really. I felt a bit confused and lost at times. If Ryan had been older, I would probably have sat him down and told him about it. I didn't know enough about the situation to seek the help that I needed. That's why it's so important for us all to talk about it. It's a relief if you're talking to someone. The boys need to step up and read about it. It'll affect them as they need to be there to support their mums or partners. We have to talk about it more to our GPs, and celebrities need to be more honest like Davina McCall has been. But there's one positive thing out of it. You don't have any more periods. Let's hear from Davina McCall about her view on how the menopause affects men.
I'm thinking a lot about men and what a difficult time it is for men trying to navigate the menopause, perimenopause with people that they care about, you know, siblings or colleagues, work colleagues or partners, wives, you know, anybody really that they know and care about. It can be such a difficult time.
Let's have a look at some new medication.
Right, it's time to have a look at this week's biggest health stories. Dr. Hussein is here. What are we starting with, Doctor?
So we're starting with a new menopause symptom drug on the block, and it's called fezolinetant, and it's a non-hormonal treatment So at the moment, we have a number of treatments, and a lot of them are what we call hormone replacement therapy. And we use them when women go through the menopause and during the perimenopause to help with a number of symptoms as well as to reduce long-term risk. Now, this new drug has been approved this month in America for use. And in studies where they've looked at its effectiveness, have found that it's quite significantly effective at reducing the key symptoms around sort of temperature regulation, like hot flushes and sweating. It works on a different pathway. So in our brain, we have something called the hypothalamus, which helps us control that sort of body temperature. And through most of women's lives, estrogen helps with that. But there's another receptor there, which is where this drug is acting on. Okay, it's called neurokinin-3, and it's trying to block that receptor just to improve those symptoms.
So, because it's interesting, it doesn't involve hormones. Does this mean all women who are going through the menopause could take this?
So it's going to be a great option for those where hormone replacement, either the woman doesn't prefer that or it's too risky because of other past medical history. And so it's a great option for that. Now, not all women can take it. In particular, those with significant liver disease and kidney disease are the ones that have been identified at the moment. That list may grow because obviously as we get to know the drug, more and more people take it. But at this stage, those are the two key groups they identify.
So it's been approved in America at the moment. When do you think we will see it being available here?
Not too long. I'd say somewhere within the next 12 months, could well be before the end of the year. I think hopefully with sort of the increased awareness around this drug and the fact that the studies have been shown to be, really quite promising, hopefully by the end of the year.
Yeah, and can you tell us what the other, just a reminder of what the other treatments are, in the meantime, while we're waiting for this?
So, of course, we have hormone replacement therapy, which we know. There are non-hormonal options. They include things like SSRIs, which are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Many people may know them as antidepressants. We use them off-label, so they're not licensed for this indication, but we found that they have some effect. But the effectiveness isn't that great, and that's why it's not licensed for that. There are other remedies that people can do in their lifestyle, things like acupuncture, hypnosis. There's certain herbal remedies, but NICE recommend being careful when it comes to herbal remedies because you don't know what other interactions it may have.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for season 1, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. Let's have a look at a sneaky peek, shall we, for season 2.
We'll be looking at estrogen, osteoporosis, weight and exercise.
Whilst season 2 is under construction, you still can go over to Menopause Weekly Live. This is the place that's interactive and you can ask questions, support one another and really get involved. Thanks for watching and supporting me. I really do appreciate it. Stick with me. Please do keep looking out for updates. It's really important that we share, that we communicate, that we listen to one another. I've said it so many times, but this is critical if we want to get the correct messages across about the menopause.
Let's see what Steve Bartlett has to say.
The first time I started to understand what menopause was and premenopause and perimenopause, all these things, was from guests that have come here.
Yeah.
And it was such a big light bulb moment for me because I have women in my life that are going through that phase of life. And I feel like they are so misunderstood in so many ways.
Thank you.
And I love hearing about it now because it's going to help me relate to those women in a better way and understand how I can be a partner with them through that phase of life, like, certain members of my family that are going through that phase of life.
Thanks a lot. See you soon.